Live from United States, Brooklyn, New York, it's your boy. Young. The nephews is in the house. As soon as the beat drop, we got the streets locked overseas.
Well, hi guys, what is up?
What's up?
Welcome back to another episode of Beer Me Dr. V. Today we are going to be heading out north, I guess technically, northwest to the Colony, where we stumbled upon, did you stumble upon this place?
Yes.
We stumbled upon Windmills Restaurant, Brewery, and Entertainment. So that's on the agenda for today. They have a space for concerts and just music in general. It looks like they're mainly jazz music, but it is an Indian-based restaurant. So if you actually were in India, the owner that owns the location in India also created this location in the Colony. So when we first walked in, first of all, it's really cool. It looks like this amber rustic color on the outside of the building. There's a bunch of foreign cars outside. You walk in and it's almost like a saloon scene where like you walk in and everybody stops and looks at you. We felt super, like at first was like, oh, super out of place. You walk in, you smell all the deliciousness that is Indian and Mediterranean food. There are 2 floors to the building, which I thought was really cool. It's set up, the concert space itself, or the stage, has a bunch of books, which I thought was really cool. It made me feel it gave me Beauty and the Beast vibes. Both upstairs and downstairs had it. They have 2 bars. So when we walked in, it's the restaurant space. There is an area where you can buy to-go beers right by the hostess stand. They're like, hey, if there's no seats at the bar downstairs, you try the bar upstairs. So we ended up sitting at the bar upstairs. It was pretty much to ourselves for a good amount of the time. It was just us 2 and the bartender. There was an outside deck space as well, like a patio, just overlooking the Colony, which was a nice little area. We went later in the day, so the sun was coming down, so that was kind of a little bit of a pain with the sun coming in your eyes towards the end. But I think it was a really nice space. I liked it.
Cool spot.
For sure. We had a few other beers, which we'll get into. Did we try?
We tried all the beers they had on tap that day.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, we tried them all.
Because I checked their website today, and there's some different.
Okay, so there's a couple different ones. So yeah, so we tried all 3 that we're going to be doing today. The bartender was really nice, and he actually noticed Mags and I that day ended up matching and wearing our Beer Me Dr. V shirts, which was hilarious. And so he was like, well, I don't know, you told that part because I wasn't there. I was in the bathroom.
No, I mean, I just showed up, sat down, and he asked, like, what is Beer Me Dr. V? What is that? I was like, oh, it's just a podcast that we're doing. But I was like, it's mainly Stephanie. She wasn't there at the time, so
yeah, I was at the
we just had a little conversation with that, and then when we showed up, he was like, oh, you're the famous Stephanie.
And I was like, what? Who, me?
Like, you're the famous Dr. V.
Yeah, so that was hilarious. Because there wasn't really anybody upstairs, I was like, no shame trying to take pictures, because I just thought it was so cool. I was like, what a cool spot. Even on the top, you have a really good view of the stage also. And just, just a really interesting modern space with like Middle Eastern style food. They do have food like general food like cheeseburgers and empanadas and stuff like that. What we ended up trying was this like Indian style quesadilla. So it was like naan bread with cheese and spinach and some sesame seeds on the outside. Really good. I believe it's called a kulcha. They have brunch. They have lunch. They have dinner. They've got fancy cocktails, which next time we go, I would definitely want to try this drink called the Drops of Jupiter. It looks really cool. You'll have to check out their Instagram for that. And then, so they have music. A lot of times it's going to be either jazz or Indian music or like just kind of indie, West Indie or indie music. So more of a chill vibe. So we'll definitely, if we're ever in the Colony, we might have to just pop in. The beers were great.
No, yeah, all the beers were good.
Yeah, I think it would be great enough for us to go back. I'm trying to think of what did the flights look like? It was just a circle, right?
Yeah, it was just a circle.
I actually liked it because when some places have the flights where you pull up the wood itself and the beers kind of fall underneath it. It always freaks me out. It gives me so much anxiety to hold those things. The ones that they gave us, it actually had a little cove on the inside. The cup was kind of like a rounded or like a stemless wine glass, and they kind of just sat perfectly in the little flight wooden sphere round circular things that they had. So really cool. Okay, so let's get into our first beer.
Yeah.
What are we starting with?
I guess we'll start with an IPA, and we got two different IPAs, and then we got that.
Oh, but which IPA to start with? How are you deciding?
Doing a regular IPA, and then we
Okay.
can do the cold.
Ooh, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that.
So first beer up is a Flying Whales.
Okay, Flying Whales.
It's
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
6.9 ABV and a 60 IBU, so it's gonna be on a little bitter side. It's gonna fun thing about this, it's made out of 5 different hops,
Ooh.
and they're not all used at the same time. They're used
Oh.
at 5 different stages when they're brewing.
Cool. So five
So-
hops, 5 different stages
Yeah.
of brewing. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So did you look into like what stages each one was put in? Because I'm curious.
I couldn't find it. It just states that I guess that's the trade. That's their secret. That's
Oh, I
their,
guess trade
Yeah.
secrets. Yeah, that actually.
It just states that it's being used, or they're being used at 5 different times throughout the brewing process.
Okay.
So
Cool. So if you look at the can, it kind of looks like, so these are their to-go cans. You can buy individual beers. You can buy a 4-pack, whatever you really feel like, whatever they have really. It looks like a piece of wood, and it's kind of like, again, I was like, oh, what happened? It happened to just be wearing this color to work today. I had to wear like, I didn't have to, but I was like, let me wear professional dress because we're actually going to be in front of like important providers today and stuff for this meeting I had. But if you look at the back side, they actually have a squirrel on it and windmills. I really want to know this story behind the squirrel, because if you look at the beers over in India, they actually have it doesn't look like a windmill, but it looks like the aluminum windmill situation, but it's enough to know that it's a windmill, but it's a very modern and clean style version of that, and I'll have to show that to you guys. So Flying Whales, what a fun name. This is, I would say this is almost a gold to amber color.
Yeah. That's a lot of carbonation. I see a lot of carbonation, a lot of bubbles.
Is that normal, would you say? I feel like we haven't had a lot of IPAs that are carbonated. So maybe that just tells you, because they used different hops at different time intervals, I wonder if that has anything to do with the color and with carbonation to it. Oh my gosh, this smells so
Hoppy.
good. Well, at first I thought it smelled like fruity. So like one of the hops that they use is like probably a tropical hop. Oh wow, this smells amazing. I almost want to smell it just to see what I think I smell with my eyes closed. It smells like almost like pear or like peach.
No, funny.
Yeah, that smells
Their
really good.
taste, their profile says you're gonna get some oranges. I'm trying to see if I can get orange out of it.
Okay, yeah, so I see fresh grapefruit juice. I can taste it's kind of bitter, but I think that's really mainly the IPA and not the taste. They call it a slight hazy orange color.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. That's very interesting.
Said you'll get notes of orange and strawberry. I'm trying to get the strawberry out of there.
Strawberry.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, notes of orange and strawberry hit the palate first, with grapefruit at the end. Interesting. Very cool. Okay, did we rate? We rated all the beers.
Yeah, we rated all.
I feel like we were there long enough where we were able to rate them all. So, I like this one. My first impression, the aromaticity is amazing. It smells really good.
Yeah,
it smells
very aromatic.
fruity. It's inviting. It's fun. The fact that they have 5 different varieties of hops in the different stages of brewing, that sounds really cool to me. I think that's such a different, unique process. Rating wise,
You could definitely get the bitterness. You could feel the IBUs.
Yeah, for sure.
You could feel all the 60 IBUs are in here.
Yeah, the first sip though, I was thinking so much about the fruit, I didn't even taste the bitterness. So I feel like the second to third sip for me was really when I tasted the bitterness. So it did take a few sips for me.
Yeah, this is definitely an IPA that recently we've been having a couple IPAs that are very easy drinking. This is probably an IPA that if you want to know what the hops feel like, what the bitterness feel like, this is an IPA that's gonna show you that.
This one's for you.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny too because on their website they mentioned that if you really love the process of brewing and things like that, it will be a beer for you. It's gonna intrigue your palate immensely. The CEO went from buying a Mr. Beer at 7-Eleven, transitioning from a career in technology to setting up windmills in India, and then transitioning over and coming to work here at the Grandscape, or what they call the Colony area, for Windmills. That's so cool. It's a fairy tale homebrewer story if I've ever heard one. He's got a bunch of different team members that are involved with it. So they have the director of brewing operations is Cal Ryan. He's got a lot of experience in brewing. I actually found a video on YouTube about like their whole brewing situation. It's actually really cool. You could see from on the second and first floor, you can see their vats. They're not called that. I need to find out what they're called.
We still need to figure out.
Well, they're fermenters. It's probably their fermenters and their bright machines. I don't know. It's probably the fermenters. So you could see that machinery from the inside of the restaurant, which I thought was really cool. And so what they ended up using was this company called Cedarstone Industry, and they provide stainless steel products. So one of the products that they're into is breweries. So they actually helped set up brewing, and they could do food processing, they can do mixing, extraction, all that. But so one of their big things is helping setting up brewing. So you show them your space, and they kind of give you recommendations of what to do with the space and what you can actually get out of the space. So I was like, ooh, those people are not. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. So again, Mr. Brewer from 7-Eleven to Windmills in 2 locations in 2 different countries. Crazy. Cedarstone Industry for setting up your brew stuff at home and or for a restaurant. Okay, ratings.
Now that you tasted it, what would you rate this again?
For me, anytime I drink beer, I'm not gonna go straight to an IPA unless I've already been drinking it somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is a little bit bitter for me from what we've been drinking. Again, the first couple sips, I was so fixated on the smell that it was so fruity and tropical and delicious smelling that I was like looking for that. So the first couple sips, I didn't even taste the bitterness. Towards the middle, like maybe 3rd or 4th sip, I was like, okay, now I can taste the bitterness. I'm gonna give this a 3.5. I don't know what I gave it.
No, you gave it 3.5.
Oh.
I also gave it a 3.5, but I'm saying, like you said, I would never go. Like recently, I would never go straight to an IPA. I usually start with a light lager and work my way up whenever I go to a brewery. Saying that, this was our second stop of the day.
Yeah, where did we go first?
Where was it?
And then I wanted to go to Bearded Science.
3 Nations.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we went to 3 Nations. We already had a flight at 3 Nations. So I already kind of had...
And a burger and a hot dog.
Yeah. I was already kind of up and going. So...
And a free beer.
So starting with drinking this, we probably didn't feel the bitterness of it or how it was. But like right now, being the first drink that I've drank today and going just straight at it, I'm saying a 3.25.
Oh, okay, wow.
A 3.25. I ranked it a 3.5
You
at
did
the restaurant.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I would put it more of a 3.25.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. I liked it, but I feel like I feel like, I don't know, lately we've been drinking a lot more lighter beers, or like our hazies are less bitter. So I feel like this is more of a true IPA, but again, the flavor profile, the color, all of it is very different from what we've had in the past. I don't think I've had any beer that's like, oh, we've had 5 different hops at 6 different stages of the brewing process. That's like very high level brewing for you. If I could, like, that's awesome that they could do that. And, you know, I just think it's a really cool idea. So I feel like we need to think about that. Maybe we'll use 6 hops and 5 steps.
5 steps.
Aha! Okay. What do we got next? Oh, fill me up for the color. Fill me up. It doesn't look like an IPA.
No, it does not. No.
Do we want to see the squirrel, or do we want to see the wood? What do we feel? Is that too close for you? Can you see that on the screen?
Yeah. So next one is called the Frozen Crown. This is a cold IPA. So 2 different styles of IPA. And literally the only difference is they're literally the same thing. But the difference between a cold IPA and an IPA is that the cold IPA, it's brewed with lager yeast, and when it's brewed at a colder temperature
Mm-hmm.
than an IPA.
So
So
would
that's the
you?
only difference that makes it a cold IPA is that they're just using lager yeast to create a cold
Is
IPA.
that true? I thought it was. It's still an ale. But it's still considered an ale
Yeah.
because it's not as cold as it would be for a lager, or what? I thought for a cold IPA, it was still an ale related yeast, but they just do it at a colder temperature. So the easiest way to remember lager and ale and where they ferment, lager is with an L, meaning low temperature, lower fermenting. Ales is the first letter, A is the first letter of the alphabet, top letter, top fermenting yeast,
Hmm.
and then also higher temperatures. If you look at a thermometer, the higher temperatures are going to usually be at the top. So there are a lot of misconceptions between IPAs, cold IPAs, and
Oh, and,
IPLs, which is an India Pale Lager, which they also have. I've had those in Massachusetts.
and another thing, this is brewed with jasmine rice as well.
Oh,
So it's a rice.
yes. I was going to
Hmm.
say, that's actually really cool. So
Jasmine rice, yeah.
So I am intrigued. So something like, if I don't know if you guys know, there are in Japan they have sakis are actually made and fermented in in breweries, and so sake is also fermented rice. So I thought that was really cool that they do jasmine rice. Jasmine rice is super popular in Indian culture. I actually love jasmine rice. This this past grocery trip they didn't have jasmine rice, so they gave us basmati rice, which is also pretty similar, long grain
Long
rice.
grain,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's really cool. Jasmine rice. Who would have thought to brew it?
And they use a lot of different
Oh,
new
look at the
school hops
color.
as well to make it. It's very light.
Yeah.
So aroma wise, like I'm getting like
Ooh,
this
this
gives me
smells
more of
really good.
of an actual IPA than that gave me an IPA.
Wait, what?
Like
Say it
this
again.
like this smells like an IPA.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm looking at this. Okay, so yeah, cold IPA use an adjunct lager malt. So they do use some lager. Interesting. But I
Oh, and
guess
this
the
is very smooth.
percentage, I guess the
Yeah.
percentage of ale to lager yeast is probably still more prominent ale. This is quite bitter for me. This almost tastes boozy too. What's the ABVs on it? Did you say that already?
It's 7.1.
Oh wow, so it's
They're
about the
almost the
same.
same. The IBU, it's 53, so it's a little bit
A little bit
lighter.
lighter.
For me, this is smoother than that. I could feel the bitterness, but it's a lot more easier drink than that is.
Mm. Hop forward. Okay, the second sip for me was a little bit
Hmm.
better. The first one it was quite bitter.
Yep.
I wouldn't have said it was 58. Okay.
And the rye is supposed to give it a lot smoother drink, so I'm
Oh,
seeing that for
that
sure.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm this is a lot smoother than the regular IPA is for
Okay.
sure.
Fermented warm with lager yeast to give it an extra tropical kick.
Uh,
Who'd have thunk it? I wonder if we're gonna have to do that now. If we ever go to Massachusetts, we'll have to do. I can't remember. Jack's Abbey, I think, is the brewery. They have a few IPLs. I wonder what the difference between a cold IPA and IPL. It must be the ratio or the temperature. It could be anything.
And this is also
Um,
brewed with Magnum. I haven't heard about these hops, but they use Magnum
mm,
hops.
okay. Yeah, there's so many hops. We gotta go to the store. I want to go. I just want to go to look. Cause like I'm just here to look to see and see how daunting it is. What do you smell? It smells kind of like I don't know, like pear.
I'm getting like an IPA, like piney. That's all I'm getting.
Piney,
Piney.
piney. Okay. If I close my eyes, I smell pear. Ooh, it says aromas lime, tangerine, and grapefruit. And the notes of pear and apple add refined, refreshing notes to the aroma.
Hmm.
It doesn't, so like compared to this one's a lot more tropical. Even though I don't think they mentioned tropical, maybe it's just like, it's probably the strawberry. You know what that is? Like it reminds me almost like the smell of the paleta de fresa.
No.
This one, yeah, I could see like what you mentioned. It tastes a lot more smooth. This
Yeah, it's just a lot
one. Okay.
easier to drink than
Yeah.
than the Flying
I
Whales
feel
is.
like the end is still. Ooh, sorry. I feel like the end is still a little bit more bitter.
No, that you get all the IBUs at the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Compared to that, like as soon as you drink it, like you get hit in the face
Mhm.
with some IBUs. But this, like you get it towards the end. The very beginning of the drink is very smooth, easy drinking, and then the back of the throat, you feel the bitterness for
Mhm.
sure.
Okay. I'm wondering what I rated this. I probably would have given this also a 3.5.
You did.
Oh yeah.
Give it a 3.5. And I gave it a 3.75. I could stick with that. I mean, so, like I said, it's easier than the Flying
Yeah.
Whales. Easier to drink, and that's what kind of. I mean, that's what I enjoy. I mean, if I'm gonna drink some beer, I want to enjoy it
You
for
want
sure.
some rice beer?
For sure.
I would have never known that that was
Yeah,
a
me
jasmine
neither.
rice beer.
Mhm.
That's really cool. I would. This is pretty golden too. For again, um, they're not they're not unfiltered, so you can see through these two beers.
Mhm.
They have their two own unique processes that they use. The rice in this one, the added hops throughout the brewing process. I'm intrigued. I'm really excited to see what we hear about for the last beer. Was it the farmhouse?
This is farmhouse
What
ale
was it
for sure.
called though?
Inner Alchemy.
Inner Alchemy. I don't think
They don't,
that
like I told
they
you,
don't have that one on
they
the.
don't have it on tap no more.
Yeah.
They're rotating them.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Do you remember anything about this one?
It's not my fave.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a big fan of farmhouse
So
ale.
farmhouse ales and saisons are wheat. They're specific. They're pretty much wheat
Yeah.
beers. Saison is it just means season. So pretty much, if you ever see a saison or a farmhouse ale, they're gonna be pretty much the same style of beer.
ABVs, 7.3, and then 22 IBU. So
Okay.
we're really gonna drop it down
Yeah.
from bitterness all the way down. We're saying
Going
about the same with
backwards. Uh huh.
alcohol percentage. Um, so this is probably gonna be a lot easier to drink than the
Yeah.
last two.
See, that,
So what makes a farmhouse ale is it's brewed with a specific type of yeast that often is cultivated in the wild.
in the
So
world.
yeah, so the yeast that they use is cultivated in the wild, and it's a French style farmhouse.
Doing our Denton County Brewing Company
Hmm.
episode, they actually harvest and brew their own wheat for their beers, and I was like, man, that's such a cool process. Oh, who has time for that?
Yeah, for
Waking
real.
up at the butt crack of dawn to get me some wheat from a beer. So
So
cool.
the yeast that's cultivated, they do it on purpose to try to create different notes like earthy flavors and
Tastes like barnyard.
funky, yeah.
Okay.
So they, I mean, whatever works.
Well, these are all 16-ounce beers. If you hadn't noticed, I know that in the past we've had some other like growlers. Those are the 32-ounce.
Mhm.
We haven't had a growler on the episode yet. Maybe if we ever end up doing Union Bear, which is up
Oh
in
yeah,
Plano.
we gotta bring a couple
Well, we
growlers.
have two of their growlers, and I just have to keep them in my car because I've been to Plano like 2 or 3 times in the last. I'll take it. We haven't cheers yet.
Oh, we haven't.
Oh my god.
We've been bad for the last couple
I
of
know.
episodes.
Sorry, you
Straight to
guys.
drinking.
We're trying to get down to business. Okay, cheers, babe.
What
To
do
the
you smell?
windmill, to the wall.
Oh
to
yeah,
the squirrels
this is
come down
completely
my
first
Ooh.
aroma for me. The first thing that I get,
banana. And
banana.
Yeah.
That's what. Oh man, I'm
Max
not.
doesn't like. That's why you left this one for last. Come on, man. We went down in IBUs and down in alcohol. What was the alcohol?
No, we went up in alcohol
Oh, this
and
one
down
is-
in IBUs.
Oh,
This is the
oh,
strongest percentage.
Oh, sorry. So we're going trending up in alcohol. Look at the color. Let's check the color. I just want to see the difference. They're all pretty similar in color. Actually, this orange one, our first.
This is a little hazy.
Yeah, our
Well,
first
that's
IPA
another thing that,
is very close to the
Farmhouse ales are unfiltered.
Yes.
They're
which I
unfiltered,
love.
so
Love it.
that's what you can see. You could definitely see that's
You
unfiltered.
can see through it, but it's
Mhm.
challenging to see through. Delicious. Some honey. It's very smooth. What do you think?
I mean, I get
It
that
almost tastes like a mead to me, this one. But it's also because I haven't had a farmhouse ale in a
in a
minute.
minute.
Love it.
You could smell the banana, slight banana smell, but I could taste that. What's that?
The
What's
spice,
that,
allspice, anise.
Yes, yes. I was
Anise?
gonna the black licorice
Oh, okay.
taste.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had to look this up for one of my patients. Somebody came in one of our patients, and the coordinator was like, "Hey, my patient wants to make anise cookies for Easter."
What?
And I was like, "Ma'am," and apparently she loves licorice, which licorice, you can't eat licorice or have licorice products like peppermint or like those oils and stuff or supplements if you're a liver transplant patient. So anise, let's put this to rest now. Myth busters, bam. Anise is not the same thing as licorice. Technically, anise is safe. I looked it up on natural medicines. The coordinator didn't believe me, so I can only recommend you guys. Anise is not the same thing as licorice. It's in the same root. It's a similar root, but technically it would be safe to bake with. Stamp of my honor on it. Natural medicines approved. Mm-hmm.
No, but
I
yeah,
guess I'm
this
drinking
is
this one because you don't like it.
yeah, this is not my favorite. This is
It's delicious. I like it. I probably gave this a 3.75.
you get a 3.5.
Oh, man, that was across the
3.5,
board. Did you look at my highest rating for that trip that we did? I'm curious. We didn't drink them
They
yet.
they were all good. They were
Yeah.
all drinkable. They're. I mean, that's a place that we
Yeah.
could definitely go back
Yeah.
and try them out.
The guy, it was funny because like Mags got his first. I don't know. The last couple places we've been going, people think it's cool that we both get flights, and I was like, I don't want to share a flight. We're getting two of our flights.
They get surprised like y'all really sharing a flight.
So the guy gave Mags one flight, and then he gave him a sixth beer, and then so I tried all of those, and I thought was like, oh, okay, I guess maybe we're going to go to Bearded Science or Truck Yard, and that's why you only got one flight. He's like, no, these are my beers. Get your own flight. And I was like, well, dang, you should have told me. I would have been gotten my flight a while ago because he didn't get the Farmhouse or the Hefeweizen, which the Hefeweizen was actually really good. So I wonder which beer on that trip that we did.
It was probably the Hefeweizen that you gave.
Probably, but I wonder because it seems like I gave everything 3.5, so I'm actually really interested to see what my check-ins were for it.
Yeah, that black lager they had.
Was it the Mexican black? What beer was it? Because that was like the higher award-winning beer. That
Yeah,
they won medals
I
for
forgot
and
the name
stuff.
of it. Yeah, Sonidero, yeah.
It's nice and clean again. The taps are all just gold. I wonder if they're numbered on the. I've never worked in a brewery, so I've never seen a. They've got to know. The Colony or the Grandscape area in general has a lot of places where you can go and listen to music or go to venues like
venues, for sure.
Lava Cantina, and they have Truck Yard. They have this place now, Windmills.
It's a fancy brewery.
Yes, it is very fancy, and again, because of the kind of food that they have.
And it's high-end Indian food.
Yes, that area is high-end, so you could just imagine. The crowd that it's going to bring, the demographic, the atmosphere is going to be, like, obviously the people that have been to the primary location in India, so more of an Indian, Middle Eastern, Mediterranean culture of a vibe. The food was actually, we only tried that one thing. I probably would go back to try like some menu items just because the food was that good. I recently tried Indian food maybe like the year before, like during the last year of pharmacy school. My preceptor in Maryland was like, let's go get Indian for our last day together. And I was like, I've never had Indian food. I was scared. But I tried it and I loved it. And we'll be open to it. I feel like that's another really great thing about us is that we're open to trying new beers. Yeah. We're open to trying new food. We're not going to steer away from a place because we don't know it or because we're anybody. So, all right. Well, I guess that's it. What else? Final thoughts?
No, overall, I mean, all good beers.
It's too bad we didn't get to do the black lager. I think we just kind of picked just.
Well,
they didn't
have much for us to take home, but all of these beers are very drinkable.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it.
If you want to know what what a good or a heavy IPA I would say is, you could try the Flying Wells. Flying Wells is that's an IPA that's very strong. The other one is also a cold IPA is also a bitter beer, but again, like I said, it's very smooth at the beginning. Then you get the bitterness at the end of it. The Farmhouse Ale is not my favorite. It's a very good drink. It's still easy drinking beer, but I just don't like that licorice taste.
It doesn't taste like licorice. It tastes like amazing.
Or a banana flavor.
It tastes like amazing beer. So I just tried to do that. I was sipping on my my inner alchemy for a minute, and then I ended up going this way, and it's still super like, whoo! It's a big punch. I guess maybe we just didn't pick beers that really like complement each other, except the first two. But I guess you're gonna get that. I mean, if we want to try a variety of their beers, you want to
Mm-hmm.
try things that are not going to complement each other.
Yeah.
So, for me, I would have probably started with the farmhouse ale just to prep my palate. But even still, I just tried it and I was just like, nope, still really bitter. But yeah, so I feel like for me, these are not my typical IPAs. If I looked at these, I would have never thought that either of them are IPAs. This looks like it could have been a lager to me. This one, who I don't even know what I would think this was because the orange color. But overall, really cool spot.
Yeah.
Good flavors for beer and food. Cool scene. There was a variety of different types of people there. We had actually like an older couple to the right of
Yeah.
us, and then a young two girls next to us. And I just thought it's a cool little spot, nice little deck area for you to sit outside on the patio if you wanted to do that. Again, they had the books. Give me Beauty and the Beast vibes. Give me jazz vibes. As you walk up the stairs, they have photos of all the different people that have performed there. So I didn't recognize anybody, but I'm sure they're popular because a lot
They
of
have
them,
them on their.
they would show, yeah, they would show like which location they performed at. So I'd be like, oh, blah, 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 the Colony. Oh, blah, 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 Bangalore, India. So I'm sure they were popular. But yeah, I think it'd be worth a stop. Worth the stop. If I was gonna rate this on Yelp, I would definitely say we'll come back for
Yeah,
my
definitely.
review.
I want to try all
Check
their
it out.
other beers because I mean they're always
Yeah.
changing.
Yeah,
For
check
sure.
it out. They have their brewing operations person. Seems like he's doing a great job being very inventive. It seems like they're giving him full reign to do whatever he
Yeah,
wants,
whatever
pretty
he
much
wants.
too. So that's really cool. But yeah, definitely a place I would definitely stop in if you're in the Colony or the Grandscape area. If you're at Truck Yard, make sure you stop here. Even if you were just to grab a couple to-go beers, you have that option. You can walk up to the hostess stand, say, "Hey, I want a couple of these beers," and walk right out. If you weren't try to stay and try other beers. But just know it's pretty limited. I mean, it just depends on what they think is popular that they actually can.
Yeah.
We'll have to see if we can do this. We need to start bringing the square keg around with us so we can see where we can actually get it filled.
I mean, you
So
can get it
that way we
filled
can,
anywhere.
I mean, some places, because what if they don't have crowlers or growlers? Like, I didn't feel like that place had crowlers or growlers. Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. I hope you enjoy this episode. On our next episode, are we already going to Austin? Yes. Technically, our next episode, well, before that, we're going to have Cinco de Mayo. Mags is up for the challenge. We're going to do a Cinco de Mayo blind tasting test of Mexican lagers. I'm very excited. I want to see Mags' taste profile to see if he can figure it out. I'll probably pour him in cups. I wanted to do that like box thing to like
I gotta
with the
start
straw.
drink because I haven't had like any Mexican
It's gonna
beer
be
in
fun.
a
It's gonna be
long time.
yeah. See, and then I can't have the screen flip like this because then you'll be able to see. So maybe I'll pour little cups so you can't. Like maybe I'll do like my 3 cups like this and pour them in there so you'll have to guess what the beers are. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So we're actually just gonna make our first mini episode on Cinco de Mayo. Maybe our next couple episodes will just be like the holiday ones will be mini episodes. So anytime there's like a fun, like so maybe next year for St. Patty's Day we'll just do a mini episode. But I think yeah. So next episode is going to be a mini episode with Mags tasting out some Cinco de Mayo beers, and then we're actually headed to Austin. We're going to try out. Again, I mentioned the last episode. All of our breweries or episodes are going to be with the letter M as in Mary, or M as in Maple, or M as in Manhattan, or M as in Malt, or M as in Meanwhile. So stay tuned for May, because May is going to be a fun, full-packed month
It's
of
gonna be good.
breweries with the letter M or things with the letter M. So we will be in Austin and San Marcos, hanging out with one of Mags' friends, Steve-O, so hopefully we can get him in one of the episodes. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Please subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube while you're watching this video, subscribe. We have TikTok. Wherever you think you can find us, we're probably there on social media. But until then, thank you for joining us on our little journey to Windmills, to the windmills to the wall. Cheers again.
Cheers.
Until next time, you guys, I'm Dr. V.
And Mags.
Thank you for tuning in to Beer Me Dr. V, where it's never refilled too soon. Have a great week. Bye. Happy Hump Day.
Pharrell in the house.
ਨੀਵੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਗੁੱਟ
Windmills
ਪਾ ਕੇ ਰੱਖ ਲੈ ਪੱਲੇ ਵਿੱਚ
Yes.
ਮੁਕੜਾ ਲੁਕਾ ਕੇ